I'm here at the man house. I mean, my brother's house. So somebody should open it up. Y'all, if y'all hear the music in here, y'all know I don't own the copyright to that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want YouTube to be tripping. Sometimes they can be in the back, and sometimes it's harder for the person to get up. You know, especially as you get or reach a certain age or something like that. I think he might be about like 80, 82, 83, 84, about 85, somewhere in there. And when you get up in age like that, it's kind of hard to hear and move around. Somebody might probably hear me. I have to knock a lot here. I don't like knocking that hard, but just to make sure, be on the safe side. It might have left and went somewhere right fast. Because I know sometimes they be in the back probably. It's kind of hard for them to hear because sometimes they be them went to sleep or something. If not, I just come back through here by the grace of the Most High tomorrow or something like that. As soon as I get up, I come back over here and check it out. That's what I might end up doing. If they probably ain't here. I don't know. I hear it, but I don't know. They probably it's probably he might be in the bed up in there. Yeah, they must have been probably in the back somewhere. You know, I mean, it's probably I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because I can understand. You know, it's kind of hard when you get older. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of hard when you get older to move around like you used to. It probably, I think they said the person was still walking and all, but they probably, I think they said they eyesight had gotten a little, just a little dim a little bit. You know, and I guess I can. When you get older, it's kind of like, you know, you can see, but it probably won't be as good as it used to. But I'll check back in probably tomorrow. I'll come back in here. And maybe I had went to go see a brother, but I knocked on the door, and maybe they might have went to sleep. And sometimes I know as you get older, it's kind of hard to hear. It's hearing. It's harder to hear. You know, I think he's like might be like around about 85, 80, something like that. Yeah. So I'll see y'all later here. Well, you know what? I'm gonna keep the camera on until I get up, clean on up out of here. Yeah. Yeah, man. I've been still just been humbling myself and just been doing my little research on genealogy and stuff like that. Sometimes it's good to humble yourself and not act like you know everything. I don't want to do that, be in that type of spirit, because, who knows, I can be wrong, and I'm still open to hearing and hearing. That's important, if to hear a person out, when they saying something or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Because you might miss something if you just, like, some people, I was looking at a situation with, I'm not being negative or nothing like that, but I'm trying to make an example out of it. What you call that? It's like, like, when you're trying to give the truth to, like, family members or something like that, it's almost like it's hard to do it because a lot of people don't want to hear it. Some people just not open to it, and they just rebel. They hate it. Some people hate it, and some people, yeah, yes, indeed. Yeah, some people hate it, and some people just don't want it at all, and those things happens for various reasons, and sometimes we don't understand. Well, we do. All I know is that when you go and you read in the Bible, it says this people are rebellious people. And it's not talking about everybody. So I understand that it's not talking about the whole world. You know what I'm saying? And the world is talking about, according to the Bible standpoint, is dealing with Israel. So it's very important to know what numbers we fit in. That's important. You know what I'm saying? That's important. And it's very important to know what I'm saying. If I'm calling myself something, like if I'm saying I'm a Jew, you gotta know what you're saying, because you gotta be careful with that, because the Most High said that's blasphemy. It's the claim to be something that you're not part of that not being part of the bloodline. You know what I'm saying? To be a Jew, a real Jew, a real Jew. That Notice I said a real Jew. Like, according to the Bible, you have to be part of the bloodline based upon the Bible. And that makes sense from the logic of it, is because can't know anybody just walk up and say that they kin to you physically, and they not physically kin to you. Just like if they walk up and say, oh, I'm gonna be spiritually kin to you, it wouldn't make no sense. I'm gonna be the bloodline. You can't just say, oh, I'm the bloodline. In order to be part of something, you have to be a bloodline of it. you know you can't wake up, like they say, you just can't wake up one day and just say, oh, I'm this, and then wake up the next day and change it and say, oh, I'm that. You can't do that. So that goes against the what they call the fake Jews, or the Ashkenazi Jews and all that kind of stuff, who claiming to be part of Israel covenant. You know what I'm saying? And you're not. So because in due time you can be exposed. Like, damn. So like they say, that's why it's always good. Even though we living in the land of confusion and all that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? We living in the land of confusion, different this and that and third. You know what I'm saying? And it can mess you up. Yeah, yeah. And and really, when they say stuff like that, oh, I'm Jewish, I'm Jewish, they really is making themselves look stupid. Uh, yeah. What? Yeah. When they call themselves a Sephardic Jew or something like that, because Sephardic Jews, all that come from Spain. You know what I'm saying? It come from Spain and all them different places like that, from what I read in history. But you do have real Jews that's over there. But I believe it, according to what I read, history, it pointed out it was a small number at the time, you know, but they grew over a rapid time. It's like they grew because Israel was already a large nation. Israel just wasn't always in Spain; they was in other countries too as well, all over the world. It's everywhere. Um, so basically, what I'm just gonna continue to do is do my research on things. That's the wisest thing to do. There's what's that scripture in Job? Job chapter 8, verse 8. Prepare thyself for the search of thy fathers. Yeah. Yep. So when you do that, man, that's why the Bible says it did say the devil gonna appear as an angel of light, all that kind of stuff. So you have to watch out and be aware of all this stuff. But I will say this here: the Europeans show enough based upon the prophecy. They definitely don't fit those prophecies because he said that the real Jews would be in poverty. Look who ruling the world now, physically ruling the world. The Caucasian people, they are ruling the world. You can look around. It's no lie. They are ruling everything. They own the shops, the everything. The Chanel shops. The Jewish people own all that. The nail shop. The Jewish people own the banks and all that type of stuff. What black person or Hispanic person you ever known to own anything or control anything in the world? They don't. They don't control none of that. Yep. The Caucasian people control all of that. So, and he said that the real Jews would be like at the bottom. Deuteronomy 28 and verses 43, he said, the stranger that is within thee should get above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. You have to ask yourself, when it comes to breaking laws and being accused of things and stuff like that, what nation of people do that fit? If you do something wrong, more than likely, you know that our people will be more in trouble with the laws than the Jewish people are not really in trouble like that at all. They're not in trouble because they don't go through that. They don't go through the part of getting rejected and having like a side eye looked at them and all that kind of stuff. Like what the hell is she looking at me like that for? You know what I'm saying? Like what the hell is she looking at me like that for? You know, or something of that nature. And yeah, you don't get that. You know, it's different. You know what I'm saying? Now all I can do is go by the experiences of life, born and into a situation to where you're born to a single parent. Yes, um, things like you've been told that your father was evil, things like that. I hear people say, "Oh, that was an evil bastard. Oh, I was evil as him." That was told to me about my father and stuff like that. Now, the point I'm making is, can the Caucasian man come and say, "Oh, I'm gonna convert to that and I'm gonna be like that too"? No, they have to already be. You have to be. It's a bloodline, even a struggle. You can't automatically just pick up and say that you're a part of something and that you can't come and be part of a struggle. You have to be born and raised into a struggle in a single parent household, things of that nature. That's something that you got to be born to. That ain't nothing that you automatically just wake up one day and like, oh, I'm born into, oh, I'm converting to the struggle. I'm gonna say I'm part of the struggle. Just because you say it, that doesn't make you. What makes you a person who can identify with a struggle? You have to. It has to be in the bloodline. You know what I mean? It has to be a people that's part of the bloodline that have had that. You can't like that. That knocks off and destroy those people that's in Israel right now, calling themselves the Ashkenazi, the Jews, and I mean Jewish people, that the Jews and stuff like that. Because to be that Jew, another thing, you have to fit all of those identifying marks that's in Deuteronomy chapter 28 in order to be able to fit that. You see what I'm saying? But me, I'm just humbling myself, and I'm just going by stuff like that. You know what I mean? But I'm in no ways calling myself anything. The only thing I'm gonna do is just focus on the everyday life, pay attention to the real life out here, and you can determine like that life itself will teach you. You see what I'm saying? Because he said the only way a person will know that they're a Jew, he said, you go to Deuteronomy 28 and 46. It says, these curses will be upon them for a sign, for wonder, right? Did I wake up one day and say, I want to be like this? I want to wake up. I didn't wake up or say, man, I'm glad I converted to this struggle. I converted. No, it's like you waking up and you already surrounded by it. It's like coming out the womb and you get a certain age, like 4 or 5, and say, oh, you know what? Thank God I converted to this struggle. And you see, I mean, it sounds stupid, but you see what I'm saying? Just to even say that, you know what I mean? But I'm referencing that, making a reference of what I'm talking about and trying to break it down to those people, no matter what they say or what they do. You know what I mean? No matter how, even to this day, the topic of Sephardic Jews and Spanish Jews and stuff like that, even that type of situation is being debated. You know what I mean? Now, the Spanish is just a language. Just because I can say that some of my people spoke that, that doesn't mean that that makes a person a Jew. You see what I'm saying? That doesn't mean just because my family member, I had some ancestors that spoke it, that doesn't necessarily mean that makes, and I'm just speaking like it's just for the sake of humbleness. You know what I'm saying? I can say things like, well, they say I can learn to speak that. Yeah, it's just a language. You know what I'm saying? Now, it was a language that was put on the Mexicans, the real Mexicans, and things of that nature. It was. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. You know what I mean? But what makes a person a Jew, according to the Bible, you have to fit the curses in Deuteronomy 28. Yeah, that's what makes a person identify. If we identify with those things, like, yeah, oops, like you know how you hear something and you're like, yep, and then you start laughing or something like that, like, damn. And the reason you start laughing is because you know that it's be real shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's real shit. That's what it, you know what I'm saying? You already know it's real shit, you know? And when you start that, like, some of us will laugh, like me or my nephew or my brother under me, we'll start laughing. Wait a minute, my baby brother, well, he got killed in uh somebody, I believe somebody like murdered him, bro. But the so-called police, they lied, man. They called our house. This was like in 2020, and they said he shot himself. Now, we automatically know right off the rip that's some bullshit. Because number one, you said it, and ever since 2020, they never did call back. So you know some shit ain't right. You see what I'm saying? But if it were people of their own, just like they did Brian Nicholas, they They got him within like 26 or 27 hours. But let's see, 21, 2, 23. It's been 3 years. 3 years. Don't give a damn about if it's a person of color, a so-called black or Hispanic person, right? But when it comes to the man that went, accusing brother Brian Nicholas of some stuff that he didn't do, this was in 2005, right? And when he murdered the court reporter, he murdered the judge, I think it was the secretary, and he murdered I think it was three officers. He murdered one. He was a security guard on on the elevator. I think they said he was like about 43. From remembering in my head what happened. He took the gun off of them because he was accused of something. You know what I mean? And he said, "Well, look, if I'm gonna be accused of this, I might as well just commit a crime. If I'm gonna go, I ain't going down for nothing. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna make sure when y'all see me in here, I'm gonna make sure it's for something. That makes more sense than just locking me up for some shit that I didn't do." You see what I'm saying? So maybe that's why it resonated with me. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, it resonated with me. And that when I heard this message in 2018, and I saw the brothers on the streets and stuff, I thought that was really unique. I said, "Damn, God don't love everybody." I said, "They've been teaching us in Christianity that He loved everybody." I'm saying to myself, "Damn, I hope I'm part of that number because that's important to know who your full parents is." You know, I'm saying like, damn. And to me, I didn't argue. You know, it just, I guess it's just not in me to do that. You know, and that's how I honestly felt. That's why in 2005, when Brian Nichols did what he did, when I heard this truth, I said, "You know what? Hmm. It just, it's like it all came together. You know." Now that's just me. You know, and so that's why I say when they said, "Oh, he killed himself and this and that and third," and I tell my friends that they like because they miss my baby brother too. You know, they like, "Hey, what homeboy? What you know?" They call him by his name on the streets. You know, I forgot the name that they use for the streets or whatever, but they call him a certain type of another name. I can't remember. Well, let me stop lying. No, I don't know, but I think they call him. They might have called him by his regular name. Let me not lie. You know, I don't want to put that out there. My bad, my bad, my bad. I don't want to speak on nothing I don't know. But I said he doing. I said no, he's this and that. He's deceased. They claim that he shot himself, but we all and like they just look at me with a blank look on their face like, nah, that ain't. We already know it's some bull. They tell me that. Say we already know him, because when you grew up in a city, in a town, and you already know what's going on, then when you hear something, you gonna automatically know it's some bullshit when you hear it. Like, nah, we know them too well. Just like anybody, even a Caucasian family, if somebody come up and say that their child did this here, and they had certain types of behavior or something that they never seen, they not gonna just be able to sit up and like say, "Oh yeah, no." They gonna like, "Nah, that don't something, man." They they gonna investigate and they gonna find out the truth. Yeah, they gonna find out the truth. Like, no, like no, that don't sound. They because Caucasian people, they know their family, they know their children. Just like any parent, any father, and any mother, if they've been around their children for the, from the day they came out the womb, they know them and they've been around their children. Can't nobody tell them nothing about their children but them because they've been around them more than anything. Just like I've been around my mother for most of all my life. She can tell me more about me And my family can tell you more about me. My family, my personal family, like my siblings and stuff, they can tell you a little bit more about me than anybody else can. Why? Because they around me a lot. So when somebody came up and said that he did that to himself, like my brother, I'm like, I came out and told him, I said, y'all's a damn lie. Y'all killed him. Because I was so frustrated at that point. I came out and said something. And they didn't even call back or none of that. That's how you know it's some bullshit. They if I had to say something, I would say they had something to do with it. Yeah. But I know I know they gave my brother a name, a street name. They gave him a street name. They don't call him by his regular real name. They call him by it's a street name that they call it. But just for the sake of whatever, I'm not gonna just so you know how certain family get the video. They be like, oh, why you put my name out there? I ain't want my name. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm doing it like that. You know what I'm saying? So, uh, but anyway, yeah. So the curses, who fit the curses in the Bible? Now I'm not saying anything. I'm not wobbling off and saying, oh, I'm this, I'm that. No, I'm not. I'm just saying I'm just gonna relate to stay in my lane and just speak on what I know. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to the problems of the earth, when it comes to living in a certain type of neighborhood, which we do, I noticed that they have all of the Caucasian people living in one community, and then they have so-called black people live in a certain neighborhood, which is where we finna go now. And you have to ask yourself, okay, if we all are equal and we all are the same, or quote unquote the same, then why is it that we are in this community and they are in that community? You don't even see Ethiopians in our community. You don't even see the what you call them people, Eastern European, Eurasian, or whatever you call them, damn people, whatever. They all the same people. They just call themselves different names of each land they massed that they went around and lied and colonized, and they called themselves after them countries that they conquered because they didn't want to go by their real ancestral name, according to Babylon Typical 2, thanks to brother Rudolph Winsall that wrote that, And that's why they named different countries this. They named Spain that name in Spain or whatever. Um, they named it's just so much damn confusion in the world, bro. And they with that Christianity shit, that's what they did, you know. And sometimes I be talking, and I can understand my nephew. It's like I can understand him, man. Like when you tell him certain thing or something like that, I can understand why it pisses him off in a way. Like you telling me something, man, and I get it. Like how he asked the question like, how do we know what you're saying or what you're putting out? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, what is that? What does that help? What is that doing for us? Sometimes I get, a little frustrated sometimes, but I understand his points too at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Because when you've been lied to for so long, see, they didn't have this social media stuff like they did. In this day, nobody. It wasn't a such thing. It's like let's look at what's your YouTube channel. I'm gonna go look you up and watch it. Now you can look up everything and you can see different stuff that people put out. This is just like TV. You know. Yes, family don't like that. Yep. Yeah, they don't like it, man. It's like they they feel like it's like I mean I can understand. It's like it's kind of hard to cipher certain things. You know what I'm saying? It is kind of hard to cipher certain things. And I'm trying to feel what they, but at the same time, it's hard to try to deal with certain family members and stuff like it is. It's very hard because I don't care how many precepts you show them. I don't care what you lay out on the table. I don't care if you putting proof out there. I ain't. It's like what in their mind. I'm not taking no chance with none of it. It sound good. Even though I know it's the truth or whatever, but I'm still not taking a chance with that. That's bullshit all to me. They still throw it away, regardless of what truth is. You can even show them evidence. It's like I can show them, they can see this sign here, and I can pull this video up years later and say, see that? Mexican grill. Some of my people they'll look at that and like, nah, that ain't what that is. That's how destroyed our people are. Somebody like, let's say like 50 or 50 more years from now, you look back on this video, if it's still around. Somebody watch my video, they'll have something to say. They say, well, how do you know? He might have just woke up and just put on a persona and somebody might have told him to do that. Anything, man. And knowing no matter how you try to prove to them you're telling the truth, they just not going to believe you, even if you show them evidence. They're not going to accept what you say, even if you show them evidence. People, especially when it comes to our people do not play when it comes to information. They're not going to accept none of it. They probably ain't going to even believe the food that they're consuming in their mouth, even when they're hungry. That's how bad it is, seriously. Like, damn, if you get to the place you don't even believe in the food that you eat, then it ain't nothing that I'm gonna tell you that you're gonna understand. You're not gonna never understand this because it's just where it is, you know. And we're not saved. I'm not even saved. So where do people get that from? I'm saved, sanctified. No, I'm not saved, man. I'm hoping to be saved. I hope I can. You know what I'm saying? That's all I hope for. I hope I can. I just say I hope I can. I hope so. You know what I'm saying? And I hope and pray to God that my people were of the seed of God. You know what I'm saying? I pray that, even though you know the enemy try to come in and try to make you think otherwise or something like that. But that's what I hope and pray for. But I can't go around and put that up on my name and say, "Oh yeah, I'm saved and sanctified," and feel how stupid. You know how stupid that is. You don't do nothing but make yourself look plumb stupid. That's what you do. It don't do nothing but make you look plumb stupid. That's what it does. To go around and say you're a Jew and you ain't, and all that old kind of stuff. And to say, oh, I'm saved and saint. Mm-mm. No. They're set in their own ways. The older they get, the worse they get. Powerful statement. Yep. Put it up on the screen. That's right. Yep, exactly. They're set in their own ways. The older they get, the worse they get. I believe that. I can see that. I can relate to that. That's what we just got through talking about. Deuteronomy is 28 and verse 46. These curses will be upon them for a sign and for wonder. These are signs. You know, that's how you can tell who those Jews are. When you look at the mark, he said those are going to be identified. A sign is nothing but a mark. Like back in Bible days, when Israel would make a covenant with God, I think they actually had something to where they put like marks up on their fences and put things up on their forehead and stuff like that. Although those were symbolic, you know what I mean? They did that literally, But those were things that let you know that these gates were the Israelites. If you go in I think it's found in Deuteronomy 27, where it says, "Cursed be he that removes his neighbor's landmark," and all that kind of stuff. They always use those signs as a symbol of a mark to identify something. A mark is always used is to identify something. Yeah, I ain't going around saying I'm saved. I don't have I ever said that. Let me see. Let me see. I don't want to lie to myself. I don't think I ever recall myself saying I'm saved and I'm sanctified and filled with the Holy Ghost. And I don't think I ever have. Even like when I had joined the Adventist church. Now, before I came into the Adventist church in '92, and that was 17, that was in a whole different uh time period era though. In '92, I was like, when I came, because I think for me, I'm gonna tell you about me. I remember when I was about 7, as far as I remember, when I was 6, 7 years old, I always asked questions. You know what I mean? I always was the type of person I wanted to know things. Maybe that's why it wasn't so hard for me is to try to to come into this here and understand this. But I always wanted to know what was right. My grandfather, my mother's father, used to call my mother's father, which is my grandfather on my mother's side. They would always call me the question X because I would ask questions about the heat every time. Like he saw me coming, every time the saved and sanctified, but still sin in without sense. What sense does that make? That's right. That's right. This they say I'm saved, sanctified, and filled with the Holy Ghost, but what sense does that make? Yep. I don't want to go around here and say I'm saved. And nobody's saved. We hoping to be saved, just like me. I hope so. That's why when I talk to people, I just say, "Well, I hope so." Well, which I never. They say, "Are you saved?" I say, "Well, first of all, what are you saved from?" I say, "Well, according to the Bible, He said you will be saved from your enemies." First of all, you it's like hoping. We have to hope. I have to hope that I'm not an enemy. You know what I'm saying? By blood, I have to hope that, because if you're an enemy by blood, if you come from the other nations and stuff, man, that's a bad rap. That's bad for any of us. You know. But I don't go around. I don't feel comfortable saying I'm saved. I hope to be saved. That's what I strive for it all the time. I strive to be. Now I can say I do strive to be improved in my life every day. I'm striving to improve. Yeah. People said they sold that they are saved. They sold that they are saved. They swear that they are saved and sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost, but still live in sin. What sense does that make? Not at all. That's right. And I have heard people do. I'm not criticizing, but they do. A lot of people do. You know what I'm saying? Like even when people say, "Oh, he know that Bible," boy, he know that don't mean nothing to me no more. Matter of fact, when people say to me, when they say he know the Bible, the way I'm feeling, it scares me. Now, Yeah, because when, like, what does that mean? The devil know the Bible. I'm uncomfortable with that word. Now, when I was dumbed down and when I was following into Christianity and all of that and believed in all that and people said that, it was pretty much exciting. But when you wake up and come to a knowledge of the difference between the children of Israel and the seed of Satan, it'll make you think twice by wanting to be bragged on, because who knows, you could be bragging on something that you don't even know, you're unaware, unknowns to, you know. Yeah. So I'm just being raw, and I'm just being real right now. The real stuff is not to sit up here and make people feel good, but the purpose of this video is to encourage other people and put other people to thinking. We already know that the so-called white man, we already know that they can't call themselves, they can't claim to be Israel covenant like that, you know, because in order to be Israel, you have to, like they say, you have to descend from one of the, according to what I read. Because when I read in the Bible, it talks about genealogy, right? Don't it talks about genealogy in First Chronicles chapter 5, First Chronicles chapter 7? It talks about genealogy, right? Yeah, it talks about genealogy and all that kind of stuff. So it's a very dangerous thing, man. Is to say, "Oh no, I'm saved and sanctified," and what, No, you don't do that. No, I see it's like it's yellow out here. Is that like a rainbow or something? Yeah, but if you look over here, blacks, Hispanics live over here, so-called blacks, right? Now, if you look at, this is not full of mixed with Asian people, Ethiopian people, and all of that. No, it's not. And you got the Caucasian people, they live over yonder in the best of the best. You know what I'm saying? These are just what you call the new project. You know what I'm saying? Because anytime you still, like they say, you still paying $1,200. Some people pay $1,200 a month. Some people pay 800. Some people pay 925, 950, 8. You know what I'm saying? And by the time you do that, you can't buy you a decent food, because the food now, it's just like stuff is so high now, and I'm just using that is to describe just the conditions. That's all I'm talking. I'm just talking about the conditions. I ain't talking about being no real Jew. I'm not talking about being. I'm not even talking. I'm just talking. I'm just dealing with the with the characteristics. That's all. Mhm. And what's coming to my mind? It says this scripture. It says, "This people draw nigh unto me with their lips, and honor me with their mouth, and honor me with their lips, but their heart is far from me." And when I'm talking, I think about that. You know what I'm saying? I'm very conscious. I feel like I take myself to be very sensitive, conscious. You see what I'm saying? I'm very, very sensitive, conscious. When I make a video now, I don't, I don't make it in a sense of like, look at all this knowledge I got. I'm so happy I got. No, I'm very sensitive to what I think and how I feel. I'm very, 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 very sensitive to that. Yeah. So it's just me being real, man. you know. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get on about it here, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna see y'all later, man. We'll just come back and we'll talk a little bit later, man. All right, I'll see y'all later here.